Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, coming to you on a Wednesday evening. It's getting chilly out there. 2 degrees this morning, not good. Frost on the windshields, all that kind of stuff. And it's dark so late in the morning, gets dark so early at night. This is really getting into some close. Yeah, we're getting close to winter, I can tell here. But I guess that helps being indoors, watching a lot of sports to cover for Jason and I, and looking forward to it. How was your weekend and how was your Monday?
My Monday could have been better. Unfortunately, I missed work because my back has been seizing up quite a bit. I've been asking a lot of it from the last couple of weeks, so I'm probably going to have to take tomorrow off as well.
Wow.
And try to get back at it at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But
Wow.
The weekend is very good.
Nice.
I saw a comedy show at the Queen Elizabeth Theater. With the host was Roy Wood Jr., a comedian from The Daily Show, and it was a Just for Laughs tour, and in Vancouver was its last stop with 3 other comedians. Excellent show. The show was so good that I would say for myself, it made up for the Kevin Hart show that was completely lacking that I saw in the summertime.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good, man. Oh, I'm glad you got to see a funny show and had lots of laughs. That's good. Yeah, the Just for Laughs Festival is great that it comes here, and usually get some very big comedians with that. So I'm glad you had fun. And I remember talking about that Kevin Hart show and everything that went on in Stanley Park, and not very many people were happy about that. So glad you found a show to make up for it.
No, I most certainly did. We laughed so hard. It was an excellent show, and then especially one of the comedians, very creative with his comedy. Like it's almost like jokes I've never heard of before.
Nice.
I've never even heard people broach the subject before. It was very, very good. Cool. I was super happy with it.
Oh, good. Well, you'll have to tell me the names again, and I'll look on YouTube and try to find some of their material.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. If I can remember some of the other 3 other comedians' names, which is totally escaping me right now, but yeah, I'll try to do that for you.
Did you say his name is Roy Wood?
Roy Wood Jr. Like he was the number one. He was the top dog, the guy that everybody knew, and then the other 3 were just. I think 2 of them were local comedians in Canada, and then the one in the middle, the third, the lady, I think she was from the States.
Okay. Cool. Good for you.
Yeah,
that's great. We partook in some Christmas festivities already. They had a big Christmas display at this place called Potter's in Surrey, and then we went to the tree lighting ceremony in Surrey as well. They had a huge big gathering there and tons of things to do, so it was kind of nice to get out and about. And but as I said, tons of sports to catch up on. NFL Week 12 was great. Tons of games yesterday, a lot of fun. But on Saturday, the Vanier Cup happened with UBC and Montreal. UBC had to travel out to Kingston, Ontario to battle the Montreal Carabines. And unfortunately, Montreal ended up winning 16-9. Both teams were incredible on defense. UBC marched the ball down the field quite a few times, but they just kept stalling around the 30-yard line, and they would have to kick a field goal. Montreal won 4 playoff games, and they never allowed a touchdown, and only 7 field goals allowed in that 4-game playoff run. So that's how stingy a defense Montreal had this year. UBC could only muster 3 field goals, and as I said, lost 16-9.
That sucks. It sucks that they ran into a buzzsaw of a defense that were playing like the Baltimore Ravens of old.
Yeah, unreal. Yeah, crazy. The only touchdown was scored by Jonathan Senecal. He got a 7-yard TD run himself. On Thursday, he won the Heck Crichton Award, which is given to the top MVP of Canadian University football. On Thursday, he won that. And then on Saturday, he won the MVP of the Vanier Cup as well. So I'm not sure why he won it, because I think somebody on the defense should have got it. But I guess he's one of the main reasons why they finished 11-1 on the season, won the cup. He got the only touchdown, so kind of usually goes to an offensive guy. But I think probably some defensive guy should have got it in my mind.
Oh, I think most certainly a defensive guy should have got it. Seems like the defense was the reason that they went 11-1 in the first place.
Yeah. These two teams met in the Vanier Cup in 2015. The last time the UBC was there, UBC beat them, so Montreal was able to come back and get the revenge this time. That was the 7th time UBC has been in the Vanier Cup. They won 4 times. Montreal has been in it 4 times, and that's their 2nd title of all. 2014 and now 2023. And this is the first time a Canadian city has won the Grey Cup and the Vanier Cup in the same year since 1980. The Edmonton Eskimos and the Alberta Golden Bears won it. So 43 years between a team being able to win the Canadian University Championship and the CFL Championship in the same year.
That's quite a length of time for that to actually happen. Yeah. Good stat. I had no idea.
yeah, it's insane. It's crazy that it took that long. Yeah. But UBC had a great year. Garrett Rooker had a fantastic game, actually. 279 passing yards, and was able to march him down the field quite a bit, but they just got stalled, as I said, and had to settle for field goals. Never could punch it in. Their kicker, Kieran Flannery Fleck, ended up getting those 3 field goals. But better luck next year. A great year all in all, though. They won the Canada West Championship. They won the Mitchell Bowl, and they advanced all the way to the Vanier Cup. So, way to go, UBC, your alma mater. And I spent a lot of time out on UBC, and I actually covered the team back in the day, and great to see them back on top and one of the top teams in Canada.
Yeah, I know. It's fantastic that they did so well, and good luck to them in the future. Like, hopefully they can make a couple more runs coming up in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Turning to F1, the F1 season wrapped up on the weekend in Abu Dhabi. Max Verstappen, of course, he won again, the 19th race out of 23. He was able to get the victory. He won by about 18 seconds over Charles Leclerc, and George Russell ended up 3rd. Sergio Perez, the other Red Bull guy, ended up in 4th, and he got 2nd place. And Red Bull won the Constructors' Championship. And an amazing season for Red Bull, Max Verstappen, that whole entire team, Sergio Perez. And a lot of fun. I know that all the other teams are going to really, really put some money and some pressure and some time into trying to chip into that lead. And I hope that it's a little more competitive next season, because it was really a blowout year this year.
Oh, yeah, it was super dominating by Red Bull. And so the other teams really have to put in maximum effort to knock them off their pedestal, because if it's yet another dominating year by Red Bull, that's going to be a lot of problems for everybody else.
Yeah, sure is. Yeah, very tough. They made an announcement today that they are changing the name of BC Place to Christine Sinclair Place. That was pretty cool news. It's only going to be for one day, but not permanently changed. But as I mentioned last week, Christine Sinclair will end her international career playing for Canada. Canada and her will face Australia for 2 games over in Victoria, Langford, December the 3rd, and December the 5th here in Vancouver and BC Place will be called Christine Sinclair Place that night. And they've already sold over 40,000 tickets, and they're expecting more. That's pretty great when you consider that the BC Lions for their playoff game had about 30, Whitecaps for their playoff game had about 30. 40,000 already for this game, and to send Christine Sinclair off to retirement.
Yeah, and that's super cool that they actually renamed BC Place just for a limited time only to Christine Sinclair Place. I think that's probably one of the greatest honors she's ever gotten. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, very cool. And that's on December 5th. On December 6th, they're going to have a retirement dinner for her. Special dinner, special drinks. They're going to have a fireside chat with her, some of her former teammates, and they're going to have a concert by Dallas Smith. They're going to try to raise a bunch of money for girls in sport, and they're going to have a special food that Christine Sinclair is a big fan of. Special drinks. The special drink is called Number 12, her national number, and a lot of extra things. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, please do so. We did, and we're really excited to go to be able to honor one of the greatest Canadian athletes of all time, a local girl that's just always done incredible things for the sport and for sport in Canada, for all the girls out there. And I hope they pack this place, 55, 60,000 fans, and really give her a proper send-off.
Yeah, for sure. Give her a proper send-off, and then whoever can get tickets and enjoy the lasting moments of her career, definitely go and do that. Definitely go and do that.
Yeah, let's hope it happens. Yeah. So big news, Tiger Woods is returning to golf this week. He will tee it up at the Hero World Challenge this weekend. It's the first time in 7 months that he's been able to tee it up. He last teed it up at the Masters, and he made the cut but ended up withdrawing in the 3rd round, saying he had plantar fasciitis and it flared up so bad that he could barely walk. So nice to see him back. It'll be fun to watch this tournament and get a chance to see him back on the course after such a long wait.
Yeah, always good to see Tiger Woods on the course, and always good to see his brilliance demonstrated on the golf course.
Yeah. Big news in the world of baseball today. The Toronto Blue Jays have actually become one of the front runners for Shohei Ohtani. And he is really, really close to making a decision. He's trying to decide between the LA Dodgers, the Texas Rangers, and the Toronto Blue Jays. I've heard that he's narrowed it down to 3. Toronto's coming at him hard, offering $400 million, and really starting to make him come north of the border here, which would be a huge coup and incredible for baseball here and for that team. And they've really started to become a team that he's really seriously looking at from all reports.
Wow. So the Angels aren't thinking of re-signing him? They're just going to let him walk? Like literally let him?
I think they've given up. I think they've realized that they can't. They just won't be able to. And
afford him.
I think I think the relationship has soured to the point where he's not coming back there.
Wow. That's amazing that they would just let a talent like that just ride off into the sunset and be like, oh, well, maybe we'll get another guy like that. Actually, there'll never be another guy like that. Like literally ever. Like,
No,
never, ever.
never. No, one of a kind. Yeah,
One of a kind.
he's the unicorn, and yeah, there's no way he's not going to. Yeah, he just won't be able to ever find a talent. So yeah, they've mismanaged him. They've mismanaged him and Mike Trout, and yeah, I'm shocked they could lose. You know, two of the greatest players to ever play the game, and yeah, it's really weird that you get a talent like that and you screw it up, but it looks like they have.
It's amazing. Like that's just amazing to me. Like if I was the owner, I'd be like, what did you guys do? Like, how did you do that? Like that's impressive work. But that's cool for us though. If Toronto can actually get him, 400 million though, that sounds like a bargain. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I thought he would be getting more money, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I think because he hurt his elbow
The
and
Tom John
he
surgery.
won't be pitching next year because he
Oh,
had to have surgery.
right.
So I think his money was diminished because you know, basically because he was the pitcher and the great hitter, you know, that two position threat, he was just so unique. Now he's just going to be a hitter for all next year. I think that money came down from, you know, upwards of 500 million I was hearing, but you know, from all accounts he will recover for the following season, but no pitching, I guess, next season.
Okay, all right. So that I guess they ensure that he makes a full recovery for the seasons after.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, let's fingers crossed. Let's hope. I've become a Blue Jays fan, and I would love to see him. It'd be so nice for him to you know, play with the Jays, and I think it would help their brand. It would help a lot of kids, you know, really want to pay attention to what the Jays are doing, and he's, to me, every time he's pitching and even up to bat, he's must see TV. I tune in. And, you know, when I know he's coming up to bat in the next half inning, I always watch. I like watching him pitch. I find myself, you know, fascinated by him more than any other player in the league.
Yeah, because he's ridiculous. Like how could you be like a Cy Young threat and a deep ball hitter at the same time? Oh, well, that guy is. That's
Yeah.
exactly what he is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome and very, very fun. So yeah, so that's kind of the weekend wrap up of sports outside of the NFL and some combat sports and NBA. But yeah, let's turn to the NFL. Some interesting things happened today. First of all, I'd like to touch on the Monday Nighter. It's happening currently right now. It's almost done. Down to the last minute. Minnesota Vikings have a 10-9 lead over Chicago Bears. A few minutes ago, TJ Hawkinson got a 17-yard TD pass from Josh Dobbs, and they went up 10-9. It was a field goal fest back and forth. Before that, Cairo Santos had 3 field goals. Greg Joseph had 1, and Minnesota has a 1-point lead. Unfortunately, Josh Dobbs has had a tough game, 4 interceptions. So yeah, not as great as he's been playing in Minnesota, but as I said, they have a slim lead down to the last minute. So I'll give another update as we wear on a little bit. Frank Reich was fired today as the coach of the Carolina Panthers. 1-10 record, 0-6 on the road. And after the 17-10 loss to Tennessee yesterday, that was it for him. He's the first coach in the modern era to get fired in back-to-back seasons. He got fired by the Colts last year and by the Panthers now this year. This team was an absolute joke last year. They just couldn't turn it around no matter how much they tried. They brought in Bryce Young. He has not developed well. and they just had made a decision that they were moving forward without him. Poor guy though, put in a pretty bad situation where I don't know even if Belichick in his prime could have turned this thing around that quick, and he had to walk the plank today.
Yeah, well, he kind of put himself in lose-lose situations because the Panthers have very limited talent on that team.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with limited talent? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to lose. You're going to lose a lot of games.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Their owner, David Tepper, bought the team in 2018. 6 straight losing seasons since he's bought it. He bought it for $2.275 billion. Ever since he bought it, they've been 30-63. Only the New York Jets are worse in that time. And he stormed out of the locker room last night, swearing. Lots and lots and lots of expletives were coming out of his mouth. Some of the reporters and some of the media caught wind of it. I guess they didn't realize that was it, the final straw for him. He seemed very, very, very frustrated, and they made a change. It's bad there, and it's probably going to be bad for a few years.
Yeah. It's not going to get any better. They're just going to have to build through the draft, because I know a lot of football players be like, "Ooh, go to Carolina." No, man, I'm not.
No, yeah, it's not good there. Watching the NFL Red Zone yesterday, all of a sudden I heard this big alarm going off, and they ended up saying, "We have to evacuate. Sorry about this. We'll be back as soon as we can." They just had some game running while they had to leave. Everybody had to evacuate the whole building, figure out what was going on, and luckily got back in and started being able to follow the games. That was weird. That was one of the strangest things. I had to keep watching just to find out what the heck it was. They never really ended up saying, and I still haven't found out why, but that was kind of bizarre and weird to watch.
Yeah, I saw a post off Instagram on it where the guy's trying to talk and this blaring is going on behind the scenes, and I'm like, "What is it, bomb in there? Like, what? Why is that guy still talking then?"
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, if that's automated message telling get out of the building, you know what I'm doing? Leaving.
Gone.
I don't know what's happening, but I'm leaving.
I'm out. Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
out.
Just drop everything. Work's not worth dying over or anything. So
Yeah.
gone. I'm out of there. Well, it looks like Chicago Bears have pulled out the victory. 12-10. It looks like Cairo Santos with his 4th field goal of the game. 10 seconds left. I'm sure there's going to be a Hail Mary thrown up by Minnesota, but they weren't able to overcome the 4 interceptions by Dobbs. Justin Fields, pretty decent game. 217 yards passing, 60 yards rushing, and just enough to get the victory for Chicago.
Well, you know what? That makes sense, because that would be really bad for Chicago if they had 4 interceptions and couldn't win the game. That's not great.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that would be pretty bad. So they improved to 4-8 on the year. Minnesota falls to 6-6. It looks like. I guess I can't say it until I see all zeros across the board, but it looks very, very likely that Chicago's got their 4th win. TJ Edwards with a pick, Jalen Johnson with a pick, Jasper Brisker, and who's the 4th? I don't see the 4th. They don't have it listed here, but yeah. Anyway, some really crazy news out of Vegas over the weekend. They activated their safety Roderick Teamer on Saturday, took him off the injured reserve, put him back in there. Unfortunately, Saturday night, early Sunday morning, he was arrested for speeding. They made him blow into a breathalyzer. He failed, and then they found some drugs in his car. So he went to prison. He couldn't make the game because he was still in jail, and now the Raiders have waived him. He has been cut and probably will not get back a job. He was suspended in 2020 for substance abuse issues and got a 4-game suspension there. And it looks like, he might have just burned his last bridge.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That sucks for him. I guess he didn't learn from his 2020 thing and just did it all over again. But this time it cost him his NFL career, because I don't think any team's probably going to take a flyer on him this time around.
I really doubt it. Yeah, this was a big mistake. They also waived their cornerback, Marcus Bates, after he was benched near the end of the first half yesterday. There was a play where the ball was fumbled and he was standing there and he watched the ball sort of go by him, and he just turned and looked and went, nah. And he just kept walking towards the other way on the field. And they were like, what the heck are you doing? And he goes, didn't look like I could get it, so didn't try. And so he got benched. Then he got waived today, and he is gone. He was just he was kind of in the mix, and especially with Roderick Teemer getting waived, it looked like he might get elevated, but he just doesn't look like he really cares about it, didn't want to play. So they replaced him by Jack Jones, just claimed off of waivers a couple weeks ago by the Patriots. So you should see the terrible, the way he was acting on the field. No, I would have benched him for sure. I probably would have just sent him to the locker room right then and there. But there's obviously some dissension in Vegas, and even though they've got a new coaching staff there, it still looks like it's a dumpster fire going on.
Yeah, well, if you got a guy in the game, just like, that seems like a lot of effort. Like, what are you doing?
Unreal, eh? Just unreal. Yeah. Man, it's tough there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start off with the NFC East as always, and we'll start off with the game of the week, in my opinion. The Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Buffalo Bills. Man, was this a fun game? Holy cow. Eagles were able to pull out the 37-34 win in overtime. Jalen Hurts out-duels Josh Allen. Jalen was responsible for 5 touchdowns, including the game winner. And Josh Allen had 4 touchdowns himself, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground. But man, is this Philly team good. This is their 4th straight game. They have been down at some point in the game in the first half and have been able to come back and win. It was 17-7. It was 24. It was 21-14, 24-14, I think it was. And then Philadelphia just pulls it together. Man, is this team electric and awesome when they start firing on all cylinders. Jalen Hurts had 3 touchdown passes out of 4 passes in a stretch there. And what a game this was. It was pouring rain, and I thought, whoa, very low scoring game with the terrible conditions. Both teams are going to run a lot, and ended up just being one of the game of the week, maybe one of the games of the year. Absolutely fantastic game to watch.
It was incredible. Yeah. It was an incredible game. Yeah. I thought personally there would be more drop passes because of the weather. Yeah. No, man, they caught the living hell out of the ball. Both teams. I was impressed. It was a back and forth battle, an affair. And then even in overtime, both teams didn't really let each other down. Like they didn't let themselves down because the Bills did score.
Yeah.
It's just that the Eagles scored a touchdown. That was the difference.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. Yeah. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome game to see Hurts do what he does. He, as I said, he got, responsible for 5 touchdowns, and Philadelphia now 10-1, 2-game lead on everybody in football, dominating their division and the conference. The other 3 division leaders have the Niners at 8-3, the Lions at 8-3, and your Atlanta Falcons are leading the South at 5-6. And they
Impressive.
impressive. Pretty crazy that 5-6 is leading a division, but the wild cards right now are Dallas. Minnesota was at 6-5, leading it with the loss tonight. We'll see if that changes. Seattle also 6-5, and then in the hunt we got Green Bay, the Rams, the Saints, and Tampa Bay still because they're in the South. So yeah, impressive. As I said, loved it. I really think that my money's on the Eagles to pull off the Super Bowl win here after losing last year to the Chiefs. I think they were able to fill those holes, fix some of the weaknesses they have, and I think this team is destined for a Super Bowl win.
I think so too. Like they're resilient. They battle back. Even if they're down, they can still win the game like they did in this game. Like they're a good team. Like so, my money would definitely be on that team returning back to the Super Bowl, but this time winning the Super Bowl. They look excellent.
Yeah. It was such a fun game and an amazing performance by the Eagles. The Eagles host the 49ers this Sunday, 1:25 kickoff, a rematch of the NFC Championship last year, and I think the 2 best teams in the conference. So back-to-back games of the year here involving the Eagles. That one should be fun.
Oh, that'll be a barn burner as well. It could be just as good as this game.
Yeah. Buffalo has a bye. I don't know what exactly is wrong with Buffalo. 6-6. I don't think anybody expected they would be 6-6 after 12 games, and really in jeopardy if they don't turn this thing around. Really in jeopardy of maybe missing the playoffs.
Yeah, it's sucks for Buffalo, man. Like I think they had a good team. They've had some unfortunate injuries that I think have affected some games because they've had some guys out on defense. But they really need to pick it up for this last couple of games here if they want to even make it into the playoffs. They have to do that.
Yeah, they sure do. Crazy. Okay, staying with the NFC East. We had 3 games on Thanksgiving. Dallas Cowboys were involved in the one against Washington Commanders, and Dallas just stomped on them 45-10. It became a complete blowout. It was close, 14-10 with less than 2 minutes left in the first half, and then Dallas ended up scoring the final 31 points and winning 45-10. Everybody had huge numbers. Everybody you can point to on Dallas had huge numbers, but only one guy set an NFL record. You mentioned him last week. You get to mention him again this week. The guy that set an NFL record, you know his name? Tell us who he was.
Mr. Bland set an NFL record with 5 pick sixes.
Yeah.
5 pick sixes, and there's still 5 more games left in the season.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Man. Yeah. They have 6 games left. So yeah, he might just obliterate this record and put it out of reach. And he has been phenomenal, absolutely incredible. And one of the main reasons this one was a 63-yard touchdown, return for a touchdown. And as I mentioned, let's look at the numbers that everybody put up. Dak had 331 yards passing with 4 touchdowns. Cooks had a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb had a touchdown. Turpin, Rico Dowdle, Tony Pollard had a great game. Jonathan Hankins had a couple sacks. Micah Parsons had a sack and a half. The crazy thing was, when you look at the time of possession, Dallas had the ball for 23 minutes, Washington for almost 37, because Dallas would just get the ball, boom, touchdown, boom, touchdown. They didn't have to spend a lot of time marching down the field, just tossed it up and easily scored.
Yeah, and the funny thing is too, the Commanders quarterback Howell, good game actually. 28 of 44, 300 yards, no touchdowns, but 1 pick. But that's not a bad game.
300 yards. Yeah,
it's not a bad game.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, pretty wild. But the Cowboys, as I said, dominated. Cowboys play this Thursday. They host the Seahawks Thursday for the Thursday nighter, and the Commanders host the Dolphins. That's the early window Sunday. So final team in the NFC East, the New York Football Giants hosted the Patriots. This was an absolute dog of a game. 2 horrible teams in this one, just so bad. The difference was the Giants defense. They picked off the Patriots quarterbacks 3 times, Mac Jones twice and Bailey Zappi once. This is the 3rd game in a row that Mac Jones has been benched. Bailey Zappi comes in, not much better, throws picks too, and Belichick has nowhere else to turn. They fall to 2-9. I'm seeing almost every week new records that the Patriots have said. First time since 2000 they've had this bad of a record. First time since 2000, this and this and that and this and that. It's ugly there, and it's crazy that a guy that won 6 Super Bowls could get fired. I would have thought that he would have mutually said, I'm retiring, and they, put a statue of him out front and, said, he's a Patriot for life. But man, is it ugly there now. It is so sad and ugly there. And Danny DeVito gets a victory and shoves it down Belichick's throat in this one. Yeah.
It's, what a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a great game. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Like, the Patriots are not good at all. The pieces that they picked up through the draft are not working out for them. And with the way that this season's going, you said a statue out front of Belichick. No, man, just Brady by himself.
Yeah, probably now. Yeah, he should have retired last year or the year before, and went down. Perfect. Nobody would have ever been able to say anything bad about him. But it's starting to get so ugly there. And they started chanting "Fire Canada," and they got their wish this past week. Do you think we're going to start hearing "Fire Hoodie," "Fire Bill," "Fire Belichick"?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe what would help him is maybe like when he does his interviews now, maybe he's just nicer to reporters. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. he's just not such a like a dick. He's just like, oh, you know what?
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him turn over a new leaf. That's for sure. Yeah, he has been so brutal for so long.
Yeah. Yes, he has been. Yeah. But it sucks. Patriots are no good, and this game was a dud.
Yeah. They had a chance to tie it right near the end. Chad Ryland missed a 35-yard field goal, and Patriots fall to 2-9. Giants 4-8, big deal, nothing too great, but yeah, as I said, dog of a game. Patriots host the Chargers Sunday, early window. The Giants have a bye. They next host the Packers December the 10th. Okay, NFC West. This was a battle for bragging rights, top of the NFC West, and 49ers just flexed their muscle, moved to 8-3 with 31-13 victory over the Seahawks. This was the late Thanksgiving Day game. It was decently close for the first little while, but the Niners just were able to utilize their weapons. Brock Purdy had a good game. Christian McCaffrey got a couple touchdowns a game. Ayuk got a touchdown. Debo 1-2, and the 49ers defense picked off Geno, sacked him 6 times, and they were the better team, got the big win. You're frozen. You
eventually, they just wore down the Seahawks. It was just an eventuality. Just wore them down. And Purdy was good, 21-30, 209 yards, a touchdown. And just superior.
Yeah.
Superior.
Yeah, on offense and defense, Seahawks didn't score any offensive touchdowns. Their only touchdown was on the Jordan Brooks pick 6. And just better team. Showed their, dominating that NFC West, and it's going to be a runaway. And as I said, I cannot wait for this Eagles-Niners game this coming Sunday, 1:25 Pacific kickoff time, 4:25 Eastern. Seahawks go to Dallas Thursday, as I mentioned already. So, really can't wait for that game. That's must-see TV, and I'm going to just say, everyone, nobody phone me, nobody text me. I'm setting up shop. I'm going to have a big screen, going to have my beer, going to have my snacks, and I'm going to watch some great football. That game's going to be the game of the year.
Oh, yeah, that game is going to be must-see TV, as you've already said. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Great game.
Okay, so the NFC West only had 2 games this week. So the 49ers and Seahawks there, and the Rams and the Cardinals. Rams are 5-6, Cardinals 2-10. Rams ended up dominating this game, winning 37-14. And this was an easy game for the Rams. Matthew Stafford utilized some of his weapons, not the normal weapons, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. He was able to use Kyron Williams, who was 16 carries for 143 yards on the ground, and he scored 2 touchdowns on 6 catches through the air. Very impressive. And Tutu Atwell had a great game, and Tyler Higbee had a couple touchdowns. So Rams utilized a few of their weapons, not the normal ones, and got the big win.
Yeah, Stafford was awesome, and the Cardinals were the Cardinals by losing again. So, Kyler Murray was, he did what he could, 27-45, 256 yards, a touchdown, but that's all he could do. Yeah. That was it. So,
yeah, they were pretty shut down, and 2-10. Looking forward to a good draft pick this year. Cards go to the Steelers, play the early window Sunday, and Rams host the Browns. That's a 1:25 Pacific kickoff. Okay, now the NFC North. This was another Thanksgiving game. As I said last week, the Lions always play on Thanksgiving. They came in 8-2 into this one against the Packers, who were only 4-6, and the Packers pulled off the big upset in the closest game on Thanksgiving. They won 29-22, beating the Lions. The Lions were making a ton of mistakes. The Packers defense forced 3 fumbles, recovered them, and they stopped Detroit. Detroit went for it on 4th down 5 different times and were stopped 4 of them, and turned over the ball there. And when you end up getting basically 7 turnovers, you're not going to be able to pull out a win.
No, man. I don't know. for me, it seemed like they went for it a little too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, you gonna go for it again? Like, seriously? I don't know. Their play calling was quite aggressive in this game, and it just didn't work out for them. It just didn't work out for them. And the score is deceiving because I think the Lions scored that last touchdown with like 2 minutes left in the game. So, like, they really, yeah. Yeah, it was unfortunate. I thought the Lions were going to definitely win this game, and the Packers shocked me. They played really well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, the Lions just, I don't know what Dan Campbell was drinking that day, but to go for it 5 different times on fourth down and only make it once. You're really putting your team behind the 8 ball and giving the ball up way too much. Goff had a great game. Some of his receivers did really well too, but it was a bad mistake-filled loss for the Lions. 8-3 still, but a big win by the Packers and keeping their playoff hopes alive. Lions are 8-3, leading the division. Vikings are 6-6. Packers are 5-6, and the Bears are 4-8 now. So Green Bay hosts the Chiefs on the Sunday nighter this coming week, and the Lions play the Saints in New Orleans in the early window Sunday. As I mentioned already, the other NFC North matchup, Bears pulled out the win tonight over the Vikings. Turning to the NFC South, your Falcons ended up beating the Saints. This was a battle for the division lead. Atlanta sits 5-6, so does New Orleans, but because the Falcons beat them, they are sitting in first place. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Your Falcons are first place after 11 games.
No, I can't, but I can believe they're in first place, I guess, with a losing record, which is just incredible. So impressive. But they won. They won. They won because I don't think the Saints even scored a touchdown. I think that was five field goals.
5 field goals, yeah.
Yeah, so lucky us. Lucky Falcons.
Bijan Robinson was the difference maker. He had 2 touchdowns, a 10-yard run, and a 26-yard TD catch. And then their other touchdown was scored by Jesse Bates on a 92-yard pick 6 of Derek Carr. The Falcons D was great, only giving up those 5 field goals and no touchdowns. And a nice victory over a tough Saints team. Derek Carr had a pretty decent game. Chris Olave had a phenomenal first half, but he was knocked out right at the end of that first half. Left the game with a concussion and didn't return. Likely going to miss this coming week's game as well. And Taysom Hill was good. Alvin Kamara was good. Tyrann Mathieu picked off Desmond Ridder twice, but Atlanta got the win 24-16, and we'll see if they can win this division. It's still tight. Tampa's only a game back, and New Orleans is tied there, but I guess it's anybody's game, but the Falcons do play the New York Jets in the Big Apple Sunday. Not a tough test at this point. And the Saints host the Lions. So, a little easier schedule for Atlanta this week.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If the Falcons can't beat the Jets, well, then I guess they don't deserve to, to win the division. Like, that should be a win for the Falcons for sure. Like that's all I got to say. That should be a win.
That's true. That's true. Okay, and the other NFC South battle we'll talk about is Tampa Bay ended up going into Indy and falling 27-20. Indy's 6-5 now. Tampa falls to 4-7. I don't think we can say in Baker we trust anymore. I think we can say in Jonathan Taylor we trust, as he got another couple touchdowns, and after his contract holdout and troubles there, I'm glad. I bet you the Colts are glad that they were able to come to an agreement with him, and he was one of the main reasons why Indy got this victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you need a solid running back there to steady the ship, so to speak. And Jonathan Taylor was exactly that, rushing for 91 yards with the 2 touchdowns. And Pittman Jr. also had a great game with 10 receptions for 108 yards. And Minshew just did enough, you know what I mean? And he ran in a touchdown himself. So you need that running back. You needed Taylor to be there to win these close games, and that's what he's doing right now. So well done, Colts.
Yeah, well done, Colts. Mike Evans had a good game for Tampa Bay with a couple touchdowns. Rashad White had 100 yards on the ground there. And Carlton Davis had a pick, 8 tackles, 2 assists, but not enough. Baker was sacked 6 times by the Colts and were able to, get an interception off him as well. And a big win. Colts go to the Titans, played the Sunday early window, and the Bucks get an easy game against the Panthers. They play the 1-10 Panthers, new coaches, Sunday 1:05 kickoff. Speaking of the Panthers and the Titans, Titans ended up winning 17-10 over the Panthers, as I mentioned earlier. Titans improved to 4-7. Panthers fall to 1-10. Derrick Henry had 2 touchdowns to get the victory there. He's had an up and down year, but to get the 2 touchdowns, he was the reason why they were able to win this game.
Yeah, he most certainly was. He was the reason why he was very good in this game. Good enough to beat the Panthers. But I guess the bright spot for the Panthers was our Canadian there, Chuba Hubbard, got himself a touchdown. 14 carries, 45 yards. All right. But that was literally it. That was the lone cheer that I gave for the Panthers. That was the only thing I could cheer for. So, the Panthers are not good. Bryce Young is just kind of just going through his trials and tribulations with that team. I feel real bad for the kid because it's kind of like, I have no help. I'm running for my life all the time. This is awesome.
It's tough there. It's tough. And they hopefully can turn it around. The Steelers were able to make that in week change and had the best game offensively they've had in years. And maybe something could be turned around with this coaching change. Sometimes it works for a couple weeks anyway. I think the Panthers are probably hoping to get a really big draft pick again, but at 1-10, this is a lost season for sure.
No, 1-10, definitely lost season. They're probably just trying to look to end the season on a high note of some sort.
Yeah. Okay, let's turn to the AFC now. Our final, this is the AFC East. This was the Dolphins. The Dolphins game against the Jets. 34-13 victory for Dolphins, improving to 8-3. The Jets fall to 4-7. Raheem Mostert had 2 long TD runs, but the play of the day was Javon Holland, our Canadian, picking off Tim Boyle's pass, a Hail Mary at the end of the first half, threw it down there. Javon caught it at the 1-yard line, started running, and was able to take it 99 yards for the touchdown. And really an awesome play that really just set the tone for this game and gave the Dolphins, the spark they needed to beat the Jets here.
Yeah, and also, too, it just epitomized the Jets' whole season, which is you throw a Hail Mary, the guy basically almost catches his own end zone and then runs it back for a touchdown. That's your season. Yeah. Well done, Jets.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers probably just said, all right, I guess I'm not coming back. Pretty much I just made my decision. That's it.
Yeah, that would make my decision for me, for sure. Yeah.
The funny thing about Holland, like when I watched it in real time, I saw him run down there and I was like, wow, that's incredible. That's amazing. But when he talked later, he said soon as I caught it, I sort of realized that all the talented, fast guys were behind me. They were all in the end zone trying to catch the ball. And suddenly I looked and it was just linemen and a quarterback. I'm gonna beat those guys. So it was kind of wild. It's kind of funny when you think about that. Maybe more of those should be returned for touchdowns because you just got guys that aren't, as athletic as you in front of you. You should be able to outrun them and deke them out, getting all the way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny though that he realizes like, oh, there's nobody fast in front of me. I'm good. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. It was pretty fun. Miami's good. Tua had a pretty good game, couple picks, but Mostert, as I said, couple touchdowns. Jalen Waddle had a great game. Tyreek Hill had a good game, and they had another interception by Jerome Baker. And yeah, as he said, the Jets just terrible loss season, and that might be it for Aaron Rodgers coming back. The Dolphins play Washington early on Sunday. The Jets host the Falcons, as I mentioned, at the same time. Okay, the AFC West now. We'll talk about the Chiefs beating the Raiders by a couple touchdowns. I saw a lot of pundits say that the 9.5 the Chiefs were being given was a little too rich, and they thought that the Raiders could keep it close and beat the spread. They did not. Chiefs played pretty decent. Mahomes had a 300-yard game, couple of touchdown passes. Isaiah Pacheco was great with a couple TDs. Rashee Rice had a touchdown catch and over 100 yards, and Kelsey was pretty decent. This didn't seem like too tough of a game against the Raiders.
Well, here's the thing: the Raiders actually were leading this game, right? Like they were ahead at first, but you're just like, yeah, but it's not going to stay like that because they're the Raiders, right? And so you just had to wait. It's just like, oh no, Mahomes figure it out, and then he did, and then they started rolling, and then the Raiders are just like, we just don't got it today, boys.
Yeah, it was 14-0 for Vegas, and then Chiefs just stomped on them 31-3 from the rest of the way.
Yeah, exactly, right? So it's funny because as I'm watching the game, I'm like, yeah, the Raiders are going to lose this game. Yeah, they're ahead right now, but no, they're not. They're not going to stay there.
No. Yeah, you just knew it. That's too bad. Max Crosby was injured going into this game. He was doubtful going in. He did get a sack, but I could tell he wasn't the same old guy. And they weren't able to get the pass rush like normal when he's in there. Jacobs had a good game. Devontae was pretty decent. Jacoby Myers, but Chiefs are better, and they proved it. So Chiefs go to the Packers Sunday nighter, as I mentioned earlier. Raiders have a bye, and they play the Vikings in a couple weeks. It's not good in Vegas land, and that's one of the things. When Vegas got a team, I worried about the nightlife draw for these players. I worried about the ability for these guys to stay on the straight and narrow. And this is another guy that couldn't stay away from drinking and driving and getting into trouble. It's reared its ugly head on Vegas, and we've seen it numerous times now for this team since they've been there.
Yeah. Like I would imagine that there's probably a service for the team. Like it's like, okay, you guys want to go out, but use the service.
Yeah.
Don't try to drive. Like I'm sure they got like a transport service. Yeah. I'm sure that the team has been like adamant about certain things about what you should do, what you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
I try to exercise control, but they're young men, and it's Vegas, a city that never sleeps. A lot of cool stuff going on all the time. I get it, but at the same time, it's like you have to exercise some sort of moderation and control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I maybe what they should institute for the Raiders is what they have for the Miami Heat, the Heat culture, which is we're just gonna run you into the ground so that you don't want to go out anymore. We're just gonna just destroy you. So you're just like, no, man, I'm good. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah. They got to figure out something because if it's not good, these guys running amok and getting in trouble and losing their careers. Some of them are in prison and you could kill someone. You're drinking and driving. Just don't do it. You got people that can pick you up. There's Ubers. There's got to be like you said, a service. I'm sure you could just rent a limo. Just get yourself home safe and sound and there's no need for it. So let's hope this is the last we've heard of it, but probably it won't be. Okay. AFC West game. This is the other AFC West game. Broncos are suddenly 6-5, 5 wins in a row. They were able to really dominate the Browns. Browns are 7-4 now. Broncos 6-5. This was pretty damn impressive. I was quite shocked at the Broncos defense. The Browns defense has been very vaunted all season, but the Broncos defense was better. They forced 3 fumbles. They got a safety. They sacked DTR 4 times, and even Russ didn't have to do too much. But they were able to get a big win here.
Yeah, because you look at Russell Wilson's numbers, 13 of 20 of 22, 134 yards, a touchdown, and you're like, all right, how'd you do that? Yeah. He did run in another touchdown, but still, you're just like, okay, so they're finding ways to win. Yeah. So I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Sean Payton's doing a hell of a job. Yeah. I don't know how he's doing this. Yeah. I really don't.
Yeah, it's incredible. He's been able to figure it out, turn this around. I think in the early stages of the season, I just don't think he knew how to utilize the talent and how to make Russ work. But somehow, they've turned it around and 5 wins in a row, the hottest team in football, and really just playing so great. DTR got his first career passing touchdown, but he also only put up 134 yards. Both quarterbacks only 134 yards. He got knocked out of this game, and PJ Walker had to come in and mop it up. Couldn't muster very much. That Broncos defense, they held the Browns to 2 for 13 on 3rd down and only 2 for 5 on 4th down. So we're able to get the ball turned over 3 more times there as well. And Broncos go to Houston Sunday, which should be a pretty good game, I think. And the Browns go to the LA Rams, play that later window on Sunday. But good. Kudos to Sean Payton. He could get Coach of the Year this year.
That would be amazing if he did that, because the beginning of the year was not good.
No.
And you have to remember, you lost the game by 70 points. Yeah. It wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good. But this is amazing. This is amazing.
In the post-game press conference, a reporter said he said that this game the score was 29-12, and that was the first time in NFL history that a score was 29-12. There never was before. And he said, you guys have had 2 games this year. The score has never happened in NFL history. And he's like, oh, you're telling me 29-12 has never been done? He goes, yeah. And he goes, oh, okay. What's the other one? And he goes, 70-20. And he goes, oh, yeah. Yeah, I like the 29-12 number much better than the 70-20 game. And everybody kind of chuckled and laughed a bit. But that's kind of weird that's a stat that they've had 2 scores. Never happened in NFL history before.
Yeah, and I can understand why Sean is like, I prefer the 29-12 one. But yes, that is amazing that they have that stat for that team.
Yeah, bizarre. Yeah, crazy. Okay, you mentioned that KC Raiders game, how you saw that Raiders were up 14 and you thought, oh, they're still not going to win this game. I had this feeling right at the beginning of the Sunday nighter, the Chargers, my team, going in against the Ravens. Chargers 4-6, Ravens came in 8-3, and I thought, oh man, like they're not going to win this game. They're just not going to win this game. So I just can't put any excitement. I can't put any hopes. I'm just going to be like, okay, I know they're going to lose. So just watch it and realize they're going to lose. And yeah, this just was the case. Zay Flowers was great. Got a couple touchdowns, one in the second quarter, and then a big 37-yard run in the fourth to seal the victory. Lamar didn't have the best game, but just played decent enough. But the Chargers, man, they got to get rid of Brandon Staley and blow this thing up. And don't waste years of Justin Herbert. This is a super talented quarterback. Keenan Allen had a phenomenal game, but they just can't win with what they got in the coaching ranks right now.
No, they can't. And it's so weird with the Chargers because they got talent.
Yeah.
They got talent on both sides of the ball. And you're just like, how are you so bad? Like what is wrong? And I think we both know what's wrong. It's Brandon Staley that's wrong. Yeah. It's that coach that he's wrong. He's wrong for the team. And somehow he's just managed to avoid being sacked every NFL season.
Yeah.
He's just managed to just avoid it. And so maybe even with their record, maybe they win the next 5 straight and then he'll just avoid it again.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
I can see that too. Yeah. It's crazy. Oh. It's so weird, but yeah, it's so disappointing. And, you can't go and draft these talented guys and just kill year after year of their development and the ability for them to take you far. And they're doing that. And it's just so disheartening and tough. But I guess it wasn't unexpected. Baltimore's a much better team. Baltimore's defense forced 3 fumbles, recovered them all, got a pick, had 3 sacks, and 2 fourth down stops, and got the big win. Ravens now have a bye. They play the Rams in a couple weeks. Chargers go to the Patriots, so they should be able to pull off a win and get it to 5-7. But hopefully Brandon Staley walks the plank very soon. Frank Reich today, maybe Brandon Staley tomorrow. Let's hope, Chargers fans. Okay, the AFC North now. Steelers 7-4 on the year and get a big 16-10 victory over the Bengals. Bengals are sunk now that Joe Burrow is hurt. And the Steelers, can you believe it? This is the first game after Matt Canada was fired. First game in 58 games that they got over 400 yards of offense. That was 1,162 days ago. September 20th of 2020 is the last time they got over 400 yards. And they just had to fire Canada and make it happen. Isn't that bizarre? That it's been 58 games since they got over 400 yards. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Wait. So was Canada like the offensive coordinator for that whole stretch? And then as soon as he's let go, the next game, 400 yards.
Yeah.
That's okay. So he was the problem. Cool.
Unreal, hey? Unreal. They have more problems than Matt Canada, but they were able to use a much better offensive attack, and Najee Harris got the touchdown. Small Hands had 278 yards. They can't this is probably career game for him. And they used their great defense as always. Time of possession, they were just running the ball ton with Jalen Warren and Najee Harris, and Jake Browning. Not that great of a game for the Bengals. And Steelers 7-4 now. It looks like Tomlin's going to have another season where they're 500 or better.
And that guy's amazing.
Yeah.
He's an amazing coach, because just even having the Steelers at 7-4 at this point in time, you're just like, I don't know how you did that, but you did it.
Yeah.
And you had a guy that limited your offense as much as he could. It was almost like he was playing for the other team. And you're still 7-4.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's cool.
58 games. 58 games. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's the first time they've made an in-season coaching change since 1941.
Yeah.
They're not. That's a stable organization that just rides their coaching on and on and on and on. And he just was like, all right, man, like I gave you a lot of chances, man. I gave you a lot of freaking chances. Like, what more could I have done?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, no, I can't do it anymore. Yeah. I can't do it anymore. And then the next game, 400 yards offense. It's like, oh man. So that's really an indictment right there. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. That kind of probably ensures that Canada will never have a coaching job again as an offensive coordinator. I think that ship has sailed.
Or maybe the Panthers pick him up as a new head coach. Back Canada.
That would be amazing. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Steelers host the Cardinals Sunday, so good chance they're 8-4 after Sunday. Bengals go to the Jags, and that's the Monday nighter. Jags look to dominate the Bengals and get another win. Speaking of the Jags, they were able to beat the Texans 24-21. I was actually really looking forward to this because it was a battle for the top of the division in the AFC South. Jags came in at 7-3. The Colts came in at 6-4. With the big win, Jags ended up 8-3. The Texans now are 6-5 with the Colts. And Trevor Lawrence, absolutely phenomenal game. Was able to get 364 yards passing with a touchdown and scored a touchdown on the ground himself. Both Ridley and Clark both had 89 yards receiving themselves. And Ridley got the lone TD catch and also the 2-pointer after. Brandon McManus with the 3 field goals, one from 40, one from 48, and one from 52. He was one of the main reasons why they got this big victory here.
Yeah, this great game, man. And CJ Stroud, once again, Texans got themselves a quarterback.
Yeah,
they got themselves a quarterback, man. 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6 carries for another 47 yards and a touchdown. He did what he could to win this game. He just fell short. Collins had 7 receptions, 404 yards, 1 touchdown. Tank Dell.
There you go.
Five receptions, 50 yards. Great team.
Yeah. I was wondering why the hell they call this guy Tank Dell. He's 5'8", 165 pounds, and he's called Tank. I was like, okay. Usually a tank is a guy that's way bigger than this guy. I gotta dig a little deeper and find out why Tank is called Tank.
No, I love it, man. I love it. He's just a little guy who's like, no, man, I'm a tank. Can't stop me. Can't hold me back.
He's pretty impressive. Has had a really good year. And as I mentioned, CJ Stroud, basically throwing 300 yards every single game. I think he's wrapped up the rookie of the year pretty much already. So Houston hosts Denver, should be a good one, as I mentioned earlier. And the Jags host the Bengals on the Monday. And that is the NFL story for now. I did want to mention the PFL had their World Championship weekend this weekend. The PFL just bought and are merged with Bellator. We're able to purchase Bellator. All the Bellator champions were cage side at this event, and it was pretty cool to see. They're unsure exactly how they're going to immerse themselves into the PFL. Bellator is supposed to be still existing at least for 2024. I think they said they're going to have 8 events. They're planning on having Bellator champions fight PFL champions at some point soon. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see all the Bellator champs there. A lot of the Bellator brass was there to watch this big event, and they gave away $6 million checks in this one. It's crazy when you have a card that has 6 world title fights, because you have 5 rounders in all of those 6 fights. A bunch of them ended up going to decision, so it seemed like the longest card in the history of man. It was crazy how many fights there were on the prelims. One of the title fights was on the prelims, and then the 5 title fights and 2 others on the main card. This was crazy how long it lasted. It just seemed brutal and a little too long for me. But in the main event, Canadian Olivier Aubin-Mercier got the big victory over Clay Collard, won by unanimous decision, captured his 2nd straight championship, $1 million each year, and he's 10-0 in the PFL since leaving the UFC, and was able to get the victory in the main event. The Canadian gangster, and it sounds like that was his last fight. He's I think decided he's going to retire on top, and he said he's lost his motivation to train and to get up for big fights, and he said he just misses his family too much, doesn't really want to compete anymore, and wants to go out with the 2nd straight title and fade off with his $1 million check.
You know what? That was probably the best move he could have done for his career, because he was never going to make that kind of money in the UFC.
No.
He was never going to make that kind of money in the UFC. So, and if you look at it like that, right, a lot of fighters got to now look at the PFL and say, that's a viable option.
Yeah.
That is a real viable option, because just look, because of the chances that you could make that kind of money, because Mercier is a good fighter, but he's not a great fighter, and he was never a great fighter in the UFC, right?
Yeah.
But he was still able to make $2 billion plus.
Yeah.
In the PFL. So
yeah, he probably pulled off 2.5, maybe $3 million in those 10 fights. To be able to do that. He was getting way too many decisions and a few losses in the UFC, and he wasn't moving the needle, so they weren't paying him tons of money. He comes in, and as I said, 10-0 in the PFL, 2 straight lightweight championships, and a great end to his career if he does decide to hang him up. It looks like it. Collard came in very hot. He had beat Anthony Pettis, Jeremy Stevens, and Shane Burgos on his route to that championship. And then, boom, Mercier was able to get the unanimous decision victory, 49-46 on all 3 cards. And good for him if he's decided to hang it up. Very, very awesome end to his career.
Yeah, great end to his career. It's like, what a way to end your career.
Yeah, I love it. In the co-main event, Renan Ferreira knocked out Dennis Goltsov 26 seconds into the 2nd round. The first round was just dominated by Goltsov. He got a takedown and was just landing a ton of grounded pound and submissions. He was looked like this was going to be his fight, and then he just got caught, knocked out early in 26 seconds into the second round. Ferreira ended up calling out Francis Ngannou and might get his wish early in 2024 for the heavyweight belt there. And he got the $1 million check. Ryan Bader was in the crowd. Ryan Bader has been the heavyweight and light heavyweight champion in PFL. Bader called him out. So he's either got Francis Ngannou or Ryan Bader next. And I'm sure both will pay him pretty good. And he's got the $1 million to celebrate a very good Christmas.
Yeah, I know. He's going to have a great Christmas. Fantastic Christmas.
And then who else? We got Jesus Pineda won the featherweight strap. He got the $1 million. He won by submission, just 58 seconds into the third round. That was avenging an earlier loss he had to Gabriel Braga in April. And then Larissa Pacheco became the first ever fighter to capture the PFL world title in a second different weight class. She won the women's first ever featherweight title by decision and got the $1 million purse there. Magomed Kiramov won his second PFL welterweight title. He won by guillotine choke over Jabadou Sai in the third round, 117 in. He won the inaugural title in 2018 and then recaptured it and cashes the $1 million check himself. One of the good guys that I like that came from the UFC, Impa Kansagane. He won the light heavyweight championship over Joshua Silveria by unanimous decision. Won on all 5 judges' scorecards, all 5 rounds and all the judges' scorecards, 50-45. He got the $1 million. Kayla Harrison beat Aspen Ladd. She won. And then Derek Brunson kicked off the night on the main card. He won his PFL debut, a one-sided unanimous decision win over Ray Cooper III, the Hawaiian there. And good to see Derek flourishing and getting an opportunity there at 39 years old, moving in. And I think he'll be one of the top PFL fighters very soon.
Yeah, I think so too. He's still got something left to give, and clearly is showing it in the PFL.
Yeah, it was a crazy card, as I said, way too long, but fun season, and that was it for the PFL. They'll move into 2024, and I think there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff trying to figure out how they're going to implement. I think 210 fighters came over from Bellator, and we'll see how it comes together. I heard that somebody was calling out Nate Diaz over this. Let's see. PFL has a standing $15 million offer for Nate Diaz to fight Jake Paul. So I doubt that Nate will turn down $15 million just to fight Paul in MMA.
Yeah, that sounds like a good deal for Nate. Like,
yeah,
why wouldn't you take that?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. That sounds like that's more money, way more money than he was ever offered in the UFC.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Way
I'm sure way more. Yeah, definitely. Okay, we've got a UFC fight night. They had a week off this week. This one comes from Austin, Texas, ESPN 52. This is the main event, has a lightweight battle between number 4 ranked Beneil Dariush and Arman Sarukian, number 8 ranked. Dariush is coming in off a loss to Charles Oliveira here in Vancouver, UFC 289 in June. He was on an 8-fight win streak before that loss, though. And Arman Sarukian, the Georgian fighter, He has a record of 20-3. He's won 2 straight. And his latest win was against Joaquim Silva, also in June. I'm really looking forward to this fight. Both these guys are really, really talented and should be a great battle.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. Great matchup. I think they're pretty even on everything. This is going to be a great main event. I'm actually very much looking forward to this fight.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be amazing, I think. Also looking forward to the co-main event. Bobby Green fighting Jalen, the Tarantula Turner. After his original opponent, Dan Hooker, broke his arm last week. And now Jalen stepping in for Hooker. Green is number 13th ranked. His record's never been terrific at 31-14, but 2 straight wins coming in. His last win was against Grant Dawson in October, getting the big KO victory. Jalen Turner, number 12 in the division. He's coming off 2 losses. Dan Hooker was his last opponent, lost to him in July by decision. Love watching Bobby Green fight, and I think Jalen Turner is actually a pretty decent replacement. I would have rather seen him fight Hooker, but this should still be a fun fight.
Yeah, it should still be a fun fight. I definitely would have rather seen him fight Dan Hooker. I was actually very excited for that fight. Unfortunately, he got himself injured, so Turner was a good substitute on short notice for Green, so it should still be a good fight.
There was a fight between Jared Cannonier and Roman Dolidze on this card, but I guess Cannonier suffered an MCL tear in his knee, so that bout was canceled. We will have a pretty great battle, I think, between Davison Figueiredo and Rob Font. Figueiredo, the former 2-time champion in the featherweight division. He finally gets to face someone other than Brandon Moreno. His last 4 fights have been against Moreno, and finally gets an opportunity to train for someone else. He is coming off his latest loss to Moreno in January, and this will be his debut now at bantamweight. He's the number 2 ranked flyweight. I don't know what he's ranked at bantamweight, but Font is ranked number 8. He is coming off a loss to Corey Sandhagen by decision, and unfortunately lost 3 of 4. So maybe they're giving Davison a little bit of a ease into the new division and giving him an opportunity to get a win.
Yeah, they're giving a little bit of that, but at the same. Time rough wants to push these two.
Yeah, you froze there. Did I freeze too?
Yeah. Yes, you did.
Did you freeze? Yeah. It says I just got a little notice that said the internet connection is unstable. So
okay.
Yeah, we'll have to blast through this and hope you can hear us, everyone. Yeah. Sean Brady, Kelvin Gastelum. This should be a banger. Brady, right out of Philly, super tough. He suffered his first loss in his career in his last fight against Bilal Muhammad in October, but he's also had to pull out of his last 2 fights because of injury. He was supposed to fight Michel Pereira. He had a groin injury, and then had some other undisclosed injury against Jack Della Maddalena. So hopefully he's fully healed up to fight Gastelum.
Yeah, hopefully he's good to go, fully healed up. I expect this to be a very good fight as well. And yeah, the first 4 fights of this fight card are really good.
Yeah, I'm
really
impressed. Good. Yeah, the matchmakers did a really good job with it. I'm looking forward to tons of it. Clay Guida, he was supposed to be the featured fight on the prelims, has been bumped up, so maybe We've lost some other fights. Have we lost anything else? We lost Khalil Roundtree, but that was
Yep.
a little bit ago. But for some reason, yeah, the Misha Tate, Julia Avila fight is now the featured fight on the prelims. Misha, former champion, coming in, not on the greatest form, but really wanting to show that she's not finished. I expect she'll give Avila a pretty good run for her money.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it should be a good fight between both ladies.
Zachary Reese is making his UFC debut. Really liked his performance on the Dana White Contender Series. And out of his 6-0 record, 6 first-round finishes, 4 knockouts, 2 submissions. And yeah, fighting a tough guy in Cody Brundage who doesn't seem to utilize a lot of defense, just wants to have a firefight every game or every match.
He's excited.
Yeah.
And he's willing to take a punch to give a punch. And it should be a barber fight. Should be good.
Yeah. In boxing news, David Benavidez got a big victory over Demetrius Andrade. 6th round knockout after his corner threw in the towel. He had knocked him down a little bit earlier in the fight and just put it on him. Very, very, very impressive performance by Benavidez. Now he's called out Canelo Alvarez. They're trying to finally put the pieces together and make this happen. If he fights at 168, that's the next logical opponent. If he fights at 175, Dimitri Bivol has stepped up and called out. He called out both guys. I expect them to make it work. I think the fight with Alvarez should be perfect.
Yeah, I think so. I just have a feeling that Bivol's too big.
Yeah,
I think he's too big, and I think you call that guy out, but even Alvarez had problems with that guy. So
sure did. Yeah, he sure did. So yeah, I agree. So yeah, let's make it Canelo. I think that'll be an amazing fight. The other boxing fight that made a lot of headlines was Katie Taylor avenged her lone defeat to Chantel Cameron. Was able to regain her belt and take Cameron's as well. 6 months ago, she lost to her, and a lot of people were saying maybe she wasn't going to be able to beat Chantel, and she was able to get a majority decision win. I hated the judges' scorecards. One had it 98-92, one had it 95-95, and the other had 96-94. I think 96-94 was reasonable after watching it. And she has said that she's able to fill out the Craig Park in Ireland for the trilogy fight. 82,000 capacity, they think there, and most likely they'll be able to make that trilogy fight happen, which will be amazing.
If they fill out that stadium of 82,000 for that fight, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Like amazing.
Yeah. I hope so, and yeah, that would be incredible. I just could not believe the support that she had in Ireland. She is just so beloved there, and yeah, it would be incredible to see that for a women's main event.
Because that, like, if that actually happened, that's got to be like the biggest turnout for a women's main event ever.
Yeah,
ever,
yeah, totally. Okay, let's just finish off with a little bit of NBA talk. We're very close to finishing off the tournament, the in-season tournament. And how did you like it?
Okay. So this is what I'll say about the in-season tournament. I love the courts.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you knew exactly when an in-season tournament game was on. The only thing that I still struggled with was how exactly it works. Like I kind of got the gist of it after a while, but I'm just like, you turn on the games and stuff, and if it's a regular basketball court, then you knew it wasn't an in-tournament game. But if it was a different, bright-colored court, then it's like, oh, okay, the game's on.
Right.
But the thing that I absolutely do love about the in-tournament game is the fact that there's a certain intensity that's been around these games.
Yeah.
The fact that the players now, they care more about these games being played. And it just feels like the level of play has been up several levels, like where it feels like it's not the beginning of the season, it's like more the middle of the season or end of the season for some of these games.
Yeah.
That's what I really enjoyed. That's what I love.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I felt the same way. You could see an intensity that just is not normally there for games in November. So this was great. So it looks like so the Lakers have advanced with a 4-0 record in the Group A. Looks like Phoenix has a really good chance to advance as well with 3-1 record. The Jazz are 2-2, Blazers 1-3, and Grizzlies 0-4. They've been eliminated. Pelicans are leading the Group B, 3-1 record. Rockets right behind with a 2-1 record. I think the Nuggets have been eliminated with a 2-2 record. Mavs 1-2 and Clippers 1-3. They're finished. The Group C has the Kings at 3-0, looking like they're going to win the division. Timberwolves 2-1, Warriors 2-1, and then the two teams that have been eliminated are the Thunder and the Spurs. East Group A has Pacers winning their group 4-0. Cavs still have a chance to make it as a wild card team at 2-1. The Sixers, Hawks, and Pistons have all been eliminated. Group B has the Bucks at 3-0, looking like they're going to win their division. The Knicks and the Heat are 2-1, still have an opportunity if they can both win. Hornets and Wizards have been eliminated. And then the final group, East Group C, the Magic, really a very surprising team this year, 3-1 leading the division. The Celtics and the Nets are both 2-1, still have an opportunity to win the division or get a wild card. And the Raptors and the Bulls have been eliminated. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised at some of the teams. I'm surprised at the Pacers winning their group at 4-0. I'm surprised at the Magic winning their group currently. The Pelicans, in a way, I'm surprised. And yeah, the Lakers too. Lakers have just been kind of average this year, but 4-0 in the in-tournament games.
Yeah, I guess they're winning the games that matter to them, which is these in-tournament games. And the Magic have just been a pleasant surprise in the East. Like they're good. I believe
they actually sit second in the East right now with a 12-5 record. They've won 7 in a row. How are they doing it?
I would say that they're doing it with their young core. Boncaro has been playing very good, along with Cole Anthony. He's been playing very good. The game that they had on Sunday, Anthony had 30 points. Franz Wagner had 30 points, and Boncaro had 23 points.
No.
Like their young nucleus is playing very, very well right now.
Boncaro got Player of the Week for the East, leading Orlando to a perfect 4-0 record. He averaged 23.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 5 assists. His week was highlighted by a victory over the Celtics when he scored 23 points on 10 for 16 shooting and helping the Magic to a 7-game win streak. That's the longest active win streak in the NBA currently. And this is his first ever Player of the Week honor, becoming the 13th player in franchise history to be named an Eastern Conference Player of the Week. And for the Western Conference, Devin Booker got the Western Conference Player of the Week. He also led Phoenix to a 4-0 record. His averages are 30.3 points, 5.3 rebounds, and nearly 8 assists. He had a really big win where he got 40 points on 15 for 21 shooting. And the Suns have now won 7 straight games since he came back from injury there. So helping the Suns now. And players of the week there. I'm definitely loving this in-season tournament. I guess there'll be some games on Wednesday, and then the playoffs will start. So I think this was a really good move for the NBA, and I think it will help a lot of people be more involved in the early part of the season.
Yeah, like it gets eyeballs to these games, right? Where people before would be like, it's just a regular season game, but now people are more invested and they want to see these games.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what the NBA wanted to do. This is exactly the result that they wanted.
Yeah.
Where that people are now invested more so in the regular season than they ever have been for a long time. It's working. It's good.
It's working. Yeah, it sure is. I wanted to mention that the Minnesota Timberwolves are currently first in the Western Conference. They've won 8 out of their last 10. They're 7-1 at home, and 8-2 in the conference. And surprising me, I expected them to be down near the bottom of the Western Conference, and right now they're leading.
Yeah, 12-4. Like I don't. Amazing.
Yeah, it's shocking.
I'm surprised. I'm just surprised because I've always thought that the two-headed monster, of Gobert and Towns would not work, and it's working. They managed to figure it out.
They have, yeah. Nuggets are only 5-5 in their last 10. Struggling away from Denver, 3-6 on the road. And I wasn't expecting them to struggle like this. I thought they would dominate the West the entire season.
Yeah, I did, but here's the thing, though. It's not the Joker's problem. That guy's been on a tear. Like even on Sunday when they played the Spurs and they won that game, Joker had 39 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. And like he's averaging almost a triple-double so far this season. So it's not on him.
No, it's not.
He's just looking at his other teammates saying, pick it up.
Yeah. I think it was last night's game. Did you see the massive comeback that the Bucks had on the Blazers? It was Dame's first game against Portland. I think they were down by 30 something, and they were able to come back and get the victory. It was crazy. And Portland's a bad team, but to give up a 30-point lead, that's insane.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. And I did see the highlights from that, and I'm like, oh man, so you're that bad, eh? that you can't win a game where you were 30 points up. And it looked like, I guess the Bucks are just like, man, maybe we'll let you have this one. And then they just go, no, or maybe we won't.
Yeah, that was crazy. What a crazy comeback. And Dame's happy he's out of there, and able to be with the Bucks now. That's all I want to mention. I did want to say the Warriors having a tough time right now. 8-9, sitting in 10th place, 3-7 in their last 10, but definitely missing Draymond Green with his 5-game suspension. That's really hurt them, and once he comes back this week, it should give him quite the boost.
Yeah, Draymond style. I don't regret the headlock. I regret nothing. And I'm like, of course you don't. Yeah. That's who you are.
I know. I'm amazed that that's what he said. I don't regret it at all in the slightest bit. And no remorse, no regret.
Yeah, it's just like, it's funny because it's like Steve Kerr is like, that's not what we do here. That's not what we're about. And Draymond's like, but that's what I'm about. I'm about
that. Yeah. Typical Draymond. That's funny. Yeah. Well, man, sorry the internet connection was unstable, but I had fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. This was great. And I hope your back starts feeling much better right away, and you can get back at it on Wednesday.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate the time as always. And just gonna chill out for the rest of the evening, roll out my back,
Nice,
and try to get some sleep.
Okay, buddy. All right. Thanks again. We'll talk soon. Take care, man.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Okay. Well, another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast has come to a close. Appreciate your support as always, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And have a really fantastic week ahead. And thank you to our partners and sponsors. Really want to say thank you to Anchor.fm. Easiest place to make a podcast. Just go over to their site and you can do what Jason and I just did here. It's a lot of fun. I would highly recommend it. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, an industry leader in technology, performance, and value, and the V350 stick is a must-have for anyone in your family or friends to play hockey. Pampas and Possibilities, designers of West Coast, beautiful things for your home, spruce it up and make it look great. Highly recommend as well. And last but not least, Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. You can go to our website and get great discounts there if you want to purchase some of those. So thanks again. Love you guys lots. Just keep on keeping on the support, and tell your friends, tell your family, and send your comments. We love to hear them. We will talk soon. Bye for now.